In the lab, I'm a chemist, Solana my element. Digit multiplying, I'm stacking the evidence. Silver chain gang, link strong, never hesitant. Air growls loud, but I'm bullish, so relevant. My dips like a shark on a feeding spree. Saw shot, silver X-Rod, that's the creep for me. Turn lows in the eyes, watch the symmetry. Diamond hands scoping destiny so vividly. Saw shot, silver shining in the dark. Visionary moves, I'm igniting the spark. From better bull, I'm the one they remark. Silver chain gang, leaving a mark. Yeah. Hustle quantum, my ledger's encrypted. Yeah, yeah. Future minute, no permission restricted. Yeah. Bear market blues, now I'm optimistic. Yeah. Blueprints drawn, every move's ballistic. Crypto in a cold, but my wallet stay heated. Broke the chains of doubt, my success is undefeated. Every coin I hold got a story repeated. Solana waves rise and my mission completed. Stack silver bricks, watch the fortress grow. Shimmer like stars, got that visionary glow. Chain gang worldwide, we the new escrow. Saw shot silver, yeah, you already know. Moonlight dancing, silver's glow so pure. Saw shot silver, wealth's true allure. Chain swing heavy, they don't break my stride. Silver chain gang, true where riches hide. Metal mirrors, show the flaws in the fame. Reflection deeper, not a surface game. Inner light burns, brighter than the stash. Confidence minted, can't fake that cash. Silver shows the truth, no lies, no shame. Chain gang rising, rewriting the game. Inner light shining, wealth ain't the aim. Salt shot silver, the world knows the name. Coins clink softly, symphony again. But the shine ain't worth it if it throws a brain. Stack bars, not scars, keep the mind refined. Polish up the soul, watch the purpose align. Silver streams flowing, rivers of my thoughts. Wealth ain't in the middle, it's the lessons taught. See yourself clear, past the bling and glow. Silver's reflection, the only truth you know. Mirror, mirror, tell me who I be. Not a man in gold, but the one that's free. Shackles of illusion, break 'em with a glance. Silver sets me free, gives us all a chance.
Yeah, digging through my dome, call it mental excavation. Thoughts turn to treasure, that's a rich translation. Silver veins in my skull, blueprint of creation. Saw shot silver, shine brighter than a constellation. Pages like a minefield, every word explosive. Chain gang wisdom links tight, ferocious. Writings the well, proof of work in motion. Turning to currency, ocean of commotion. Silver chain gang, we don't break, we bind. Proof of wisdom in the ground, wealth in the mind. Ideas minute, the fourth state divine. Saw shot silver, heads wise refined, we shine. Thoughts raw like ore, but I smell them clean. Every verse a gem cut sharper than a guillotine. Every pen, I just move the unseen. Words stack wealth like I'm in a dream. Focus, locked in, laser beam ambition. Every bar gold, lyrical precision. I write to live, I live to write the vision. Silver tongue slicing through the indecision. Silver chain gang, we don't break, we bind. Proof of wisdom in the ground, wealth in the mind. Ideas minute, the fourth state divine. Soul shots, silver heads wise refined, we shine.
My wallet got a glow, blockchain on my wrist.
Solana move fast, you can't catch the drift. Silver chain gang, shining lunar eclipse. URL flex, all shots, silver don't miss. No sync, smooth data flows in my veins. Charts on my screen, I'm the bull run sage. Foresight, shortcut through the market haze. Digits stack tall, never minimum wage. Saw shot silver, the shine, the glimmer. Crypto waves rise, I'm the big fish swimmer. Solana moves swift, while the rest stay bitter. Silver chain gang, yeah, the future delivered. Candlesticks dancing, my vision precise. I flip tokens quicker than Vega gets dice. Deep 808s rumble, I'm the algorithm knight. Silver links heavy, no room for the light. Decentralized, well, my castle in the air. No gatekeepers here, just code that's fair. I'm a prophet, the cycle I declare. While they chase the hype, I'm already prepared. Proof of stake, proof of game, proof I'm winning. Market spinning, still grinning, just beginning. Proof of stake, proof of game, proof I'm winning. Market spinning, still grinning, just beginning.
Yo, what's going on YouTube? So tonight I'm just going to be kind of talking about my business and blockchain technology, what I'm building, and why you should also. So I'm gonna bring my stuff over here in a second. Again, I thought I had this all set up. Give me one moment, y'all. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna be using AI to kind of help me explain what it is I'm talking about. So, where do I begin? I'm not a great live streamer. It takes a lot for me to get my thoughts in order, and they all just kind of come and go as they please. But yeah. So, what is it that I have? Let me start answering that question. What have I built? So, I built a website that operates using Solana and the Solana blockchain, to be more specific. So, how does that work? You know, how exactly does a website use a blockchain and connect to a blockchain? Well, it's very simple. Um, you can interact with the blockchain through various ways. And it's typically through just a wallet, though. But what I mean by through various ways is you can do it through a Chrome extension. You can do it in the command line. You can do it in a application that somebody builds, like on a phone. Um, and really, all it is that's a really great question. So let's go over to ChatGPT and let's kind of think about that. So so I'm building my business, which is a website that operates using blockchain technology. And my question to you is, how exactly does that work? Because wallets can be used, created, and operated through the command line or other ways like through a Chrome extension or a Google Play app on your phone. how is it though that these various techniques interact with the blockchain? And really, I think it's just um, you download so if I remember right, without reading it, I'm just gonna close my eyes and say, I think you download certain what's it called? Plugins, not plugins, but repositories. Like if you download Rust, that's what Solana is basically written in, is Rust, if I remember right. And it's through stuff like this. So like it gets very specific, there's different technologies, and if you download these technologies or choose to use these technologies in various places, um, it's just like downloading uh, like JavaScript or Firefox, or you know, it's very specific and unique to that technology. And it's like if you were to want to interact with um, Bitcoin, Bitcoin is its own technology in a sense. Um, I mean, if I'm trying to have people visualize it, that's how I would explain it. Of course, it's all code, but it's not it's not it's not entwined. Um, Solana though can be has been entwined with a lot of other blockchains, and a lot of other blockchains do use Solana uh, for their transactions and their throughput and stuff. So let's actually just read what AI has to kind of explain how it explains what I was trying to explain. So, how blockchain wallets, CLI browsers actually talk to the chain. It's a nice question. You're building exact what kind of project where this matters. I'll explain these pieces, yada yada. So, the core idea: a wallet holds keys, creates and signs transactions locally. Locally just means from your device. Okay, it's not like um, it's from where you are, and then that sends the signed transaction to a node or RPC provider, and then this node broadcasts it to the network for an inclusion in the block. And this node, I guess, could be somewhere else, could be not locally, it could be somewhere else. Um, and so the key pieces is the private keys, the addresses, all this other stuff. Um, I've actually studied this stuff. I encourage you all to as well. Pause the live stream, read this over. I pretty much know what all this stuff is. Um, so I'm not gonna just go over and explain all of that. I mean, these are multiple. Every single one of these points are like their own video. You could easily make your own video out of these. But um, what am I explaining in this stream? Uh, I have a lot of great ideas that I would like to get out there. Um, so we're just trying to explain how this all works. These are all various functions with how the blockchain works. I understand this stuff. Um, let's just go over it anyway. So key material. The wallet stores the seed and private key that provides the ownership of funds. Okay, kind of like a bank account. Um, so now, I mean, that's a really good explanation. It's just like a bank account. So non-custodial wallets keep the keys on the user's device, and custodial wallets keep them on servers. Okay, so this is a very important distinction, I think, right here, that right there. Now, export formats differ, seed phrases. raw key pairs, keystone files, etc. They can be different in how they are operated and created and stuff. Um, Now the address and public key derived from that private key, which can be any type of BIP39 or encrypted JSON. Now it's what other people use to send tokens to and from, well, just to that wallet. Yeah, exactly. To that wallet. The address is what people send the wallet to, kind of like, a home address. You're trying to send some mail. Well, some tokens are coming in the mail, and we need a mail address. And that's also referred to as the public key or the public address. And now there's a transaction composer function. Now the wallet constructs a transaction object. Uh, so what this is my website, when somebody is using the SolShop trading bot, um, it basically what it does is it builds transactions based on the user's current settings, right? And that's exactly what this is explaining. And the wallet constructor it creates transaction objects, which could be um, well, they are just smart contracts or contracts in general, plus different parameters. So my website actually has custom parameters based on the user's settings, and so these are always changing. And what that means for the smart contracts is uh, basically, since they're changing, sometimes the Phantom wallet, which I use on my platform, will mark them as malicious just because they don't understand, that it's a different, um, it's it's a not familiar protocol, to what Phantom registers. So I actually really need to reach out to them and um, yeah, I want to say first that none of this none of this information in this video is financial advice. Now, I probably should have said that at the very beginning, but this is my website. This is what I'm building, and and it is functional overall. It anything on this platform, it'll lead you somewhere, and it'll it all works. It's all. I'm still building it. I'm still working on it, but right now, uh, I'm just kind of talking about it. So yeah. So where am I going with this, man? Um, I mean, there's just so much to this. Let me just get back to this. So the way this works is there's also a local signing. So after it builds the transactions, the wallet uses a private key to cryptographically sign the transaction um, through, accept or deny in the wallet settings when the transaction happens, and only a signed transaction proves that the user authorized it. So the cool thing about my website is that my website, whenever any regular user interacts with it, like if you were just to make uh, and by a regular user, I just mean anyone outside of myself, because I am the treasury wallet. I am the business owner. Um, I am the operator. So whenever somebody makes an account, their account is, you know, just a regular user account. So the local signing proves that it was signed by the user. And what does that mean? So um, basically, what that means is local signing just means that you are using the user interface. You're not using your private keys or your seed phrase or whatever in order to conduct the transaction. Because a lot of what these protocols do is they actually use their private keys in order to um, operate on the blockchain in a more automatically way between users. So, like on my website, for instance, on the homepage here, I'll show you here. I connect my wallet to check my balance. Boom. I got my wallet connected. I check my balance. I got 75 Silververse tokens that I can use to apply a discount to my silver purchase. Well, what does that mean? Well, that just means that when I make this purchase of silver and I click, uh, sign the transaction or whatever, there's going to be a user interface that pops up, right? And you can accept or decline that transaction. That's all local. I do not use your private keys to conduct that transaction. And that's really important for people to understand is that local signing proves that the user did it, not a business or corporation or something. And so, yeah, I mean, whenever somebody purchases silver or writes a book on my platform, where is it? There we go. So whenever somebody writes a book on my platform or schedules a meeting with me, because you can also do that. Um, it does all of this locally. I there's no point at all at any point on this website that I ever ask for your private keys or your seed phrase. So that's a very important thing that any uh, crypto business owner should state to their community and their you know in their marketing is we never ask for your seed phrase or anything like that. And what's cool the way this works is just previously the transaction composer. Now um, where do we go from here? So let me just keep continuing on and explaining just the basics, so the key pieces. The transport provider RPC. This is effectively the RPCs are effectively how do I the internet service providers of the blockchain. Okay, I mean the RPCs are like if you need to connect to a blockchain, you have to have an RPC connection, just like you would have an internet connection. you know. So I mean, so far we've got internet connections built in. We got freaking mailing addresses built in. I mean, what's next? Our freaking I don't even know, dude. That's crazy. But I mean, the whole blockchain thing. It it's an interesting thing. The more I learn about it, and the more um, just as time goes on, it's a really great thing to discuss with like-minded people. And I think, um, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do we have any chatters? No, we don't have any chatters. But yeah, let me know if you get any value from this in the future. I'm actually gonna turn my camera off. 'Cause maybe that's just maybe I'm off-putting to some people. But anyways, let's get back to it. So I'm actually gonna adjust this as well to make this a little more readable. Actually, we're gonna that's okay. Um, How does this look on my website though? Whatever. That's fine. Mhm. Okay. So where are we at? The RPCs are like the internet service providers of the blockchain. Okay. Um, so it says transport provider RPC. Can y'all see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. Um, so it says here after signing, the wallet hands the signed transaction to a node or a RPC provider. You know, your internet service provider, which broadcasts it and allows the blockchain to pick it up. Um, Now there are common providers. Uh, Common providers include public node endpoints. What does that mean? Common providers include public node endpoints. This just means that the public can interact with the node or the blockchain. Just so you know. All right. Now, these are services like Alchemy and QuickNode. And as you can see on my website, I actually use the Alchemy. Um, Actually, it doesn't show you, but yeah. So let me yeah, okay. So let me just continue. So on the Solana blockchain, regular users, anybody, the public can interact with the blockchain. But on Solana, wallets use RPC endpoints and send serialized signed transactions. So these are signed transactions on EVM chains. They use JSON RPC methods like ETH, send raw transaction. So let's kind of back up and kind of go over that a little bit more, because I mean that is kind of confusing a little bit. So on Solana, wallets use RPC endpoints. So public node endpoints, and they send serialized signed transactions, okay, through the transaction composer. All right, like we described earlier on EVM chains. Oh, this just explains that on EVM chains, they use, okay, so we could ask it what EVM chains are, because it didn't really explain that. It just kind of threw that out there, like I was supposed to know. But the network and consensus. So this is the second to last part of the key pieces and roles. The node, all right, publishes the transaction to peers, miners, validators, including it in a block on the blockchain. After confirmations, the chain state updates. And what I think a lot of people have to understand that blocks live on the blockchain, and like RPC endpoints and nodes and stuff are like a completely separate thing. So when you think about a block and a blockchain, you can think about a transaction going through a pipeline, right? Now, now the thing about, oh, where was I going with that? Dang it! I just had a really great point. So yeah, so node endpoints are like, how would I describe that? They're a separate factor. Um, it's like a verification layer. Nodes are like the verifiers of blocks, if that makes sense. Just like your bank teller would be, the verifier of a withdrawal or a deposit, right? But this allows you to be the bank teller. That's pretty much all this is. All pretty much blockchain technology is you are your own bank teller. Um, you're not your own bank. I mean, technically, you could create your own bank just like Michael Saylor did. You could create your own bank of Solana. You could have your own collection of Solana investors. You know what? That might be the thing that I do with my business. That might be, something that I might consider. Being a Solana holders. No, because that would be kind of a custodial service. I want to stick to non-custodial, as difficult as it may be. Um, but the thing is, a lot of people, they're okay. So there's two different kinds of people when it comes to their money. They want to just throw their money in the bank and not think about it and let their bank manage their money and everything like that. But then there's the type of person that actually wants to take charge of their future, and there's actually the type of person that um where was I going with that? Um, there's a type of person that, oh my gosh, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order here. Um, so you know what? There's two different kinds of people. Let's move on. So yeah, there's a whole verification system when it comes to blockchain technology, just like there would be in a traditional financial system. That's pretty much all I'm trying to say. And when somebody is willing to take charge of their future, uh, that person is more likely to use blockchain technology simply because of their personality type. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like, um, a lot of people want more control and to be able to manage. Um, how do I say that? That's really interesting. There's a whole dynamic there. But anyways, um, indexers. Uh, actually, let's go back here. So network and consensus. The nodes, um, which are like the public verifiers, publish the transaction to the blockchain peers, which basically operate the blockchain and make sure that the blockchain functions, uh, like miners and validators. These are essentially what the nodes are publishing blocks to. So in Bitcoin, it would be miners. In Solana, it's validators. And for uh, a lot of what's it called, cryptocurrency businesses and blockchain, well, blockchains like Ethereum and Chainlink and stuff and Avalanche, they use different methods like miners or validators, and that there is a difference. There is a difference there. Whether or not a blockchain uses miners or a blockchain uses validators just depends on the way the blockchain is built, right? Um, And I mean, that's a whole video in and of itself. I mean, if one uses one and the other uses the other, you can expect that they operate differently and they have different purposes. All right. Now, just proceeding from there, it includes it in the block on the blockchain, these various ways that the blockchain works. And after the confirmation, the chain state will update after the block processes all of the transactions that were pushed into that block. So a block can hold a bunch of transactions in a certain time period, and then the validators or the miners or whatever um, authenticates and verifies that block and moves the block forward. Because in a financial system, especially blockchains, everything is a continuously moving forward process, and it's always evolving, right? It understands that it's never the same um, when it comes to finance, which is true. You never have the same dollar bill twice, and you're never gonna have the same amount of money with the same dollars. But anyways, where do we go from there? So indexers, explorers, on-site UI. Um, so my website can query RPCs or indexers. And it does all of this using code. Um, this is kind of something that I want to explain about code. Code can operate on a device locally, or it can operate on the web, and the internet and worldwide, essentially. You know, um, and a website can interact with a blockchain because it's a worldwide thing. It's not something that's just local. I mean, you can run a blockchain locally, and but that would really not serve a purpose because I mean the whole purpose is to validate blocks and to move blocks forward, like I was just saying. Um, and to make sure that like the integrity of the blockchain and its transactions are intact. Um, now, like I showed you before, here I'll show you again. My website actually has a live RPC monitor at the very bottom, and you can see um, there we go. It just triggered. So 3 a minute, and um, what this is showing people is that it's working, and basically it's calling various APIs, whether it be to a blockchain or other service. Um, it's working, and it's working as intended, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you just for a moment. And I mean, really, that's all to it. It's so simple to understand when you understand these 7 pieces, because really that's the entire thing right there. Once you understand all of this stuff, you will understand blockchain technology, and therefore you could create your own blockchain based business because you understand how it works. And so um, yeah, so let me just talk about how all this um, what's kind of going on through my brain and what I think that people should do, in best practices if they're trying to do what I'm doing. And so here on the right side, I'm actually going to adjust this so you can see it a bit better. All right, so what is this? What are we looking at here? So this right here is something that I built and something that I think any blockchain business should have. What is this? This is a progression bar of the tokenomics. So yes, I did create my own token. It is called the Silververse token, SVT, and it does have a legitimate purpose. Now, this is the point of the video that I'm going to be talking about my token, and it's a point that I want to kind of not just gloss over. So I kind of want to go over this in a little bit of detail. So, community distribution overview. This is the token distribution overview. Um, Now this is going to change a little bit. Right now it says that 700 million of my tokens are allocated to my personal marketing and development reserve for the growth of my business and the project of my blockchain business. But that's actually probably more or less like 500 million, I would say, and probably even like 400 million in the future. Um, right now, I I want to say in this video that I do need to um, allocate about 100 million of these tokens to users who purchase a SoulShot bot subscription, and and the reason that I would want to do that is simply just for rewards and incentivization and utility. I mean, I have a blockchain based business and I want people to be able to use the features. So, yes, I would, and I sell silver, so I would want people to have discounts if they use the platform. If they use the platform, I would want them to be rewarded for using the platform. And yeah, so in the future, I'm going to be adding another progression bar. It'll be like 100 million tokens distributed to users specifically by purchasing subscriptions for the trading bot that I've been building on my platform. Um, so then in reality, this is actually more or less like 500 million because I also have a feature that allows people to basically book appointments with me and talk to me personally on my website. In the Silver Books page, it allows people to do that, and it also, awards people tokens for doing that. So, what am I gonna talk about next? So, that's my marketing and development reserve. It's actually more or less like 500 million. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, y'all. AFK. Alright, I'm sorry about that. Y'all really had to use the bathroom. So, I'm talking about this distribution overview, basically the tokenomic system of my business personally, and why I think it's important for other blockchain businesses to incorporate something like this, because all this really does is just offer transparency to its users. Okay. Um, and so I'm gonna kind of show you um, what I mean by that. So I have been testing the website and its features. Okay, so when you see the community silver progress and how um, it says 53 SVT received, it should actually say distributed because it you know it just be more psychologically appropriate, more professional. It shouldn't say received because if someone goes to the website and they see that, I want them to be like distributed. Okay, but anyways, um, this progress bar, the silver community progress bar, whenever somebody purchases silver on the platform, um, in the form right here to the left, uh, you'll actually see that the purchase for 1 ounce of silver is almost $58. It just changed right there if you saw that. So whenever somebody purchases um, 1 ounce of silver, they will earn 57 SVT because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. $1 spent earns you 1 token. All right. Now, currently the tokens, um, they're not worth really what you would they're not really they're not worth like a $1 to $1 ratio, but that's fine because they're just rewards, not supposed to be like a get rich quick scheme. It's supposed to be a utility and reward function for the token. So um but there is a certain side to that. The tokens, um they have, their own pair. It is paired with Solana, using the Radium protocol. So let me actually go to Radium. That's also something that I have to get rid of is the freeze authority. I'll be doing that once the project is completely done. But right now I'm just kind of talking about the project and you know. But let's go to the liquidity pair, search up SVT, Silververse token, and boom, you can see $22 worth of liquidity. Now I do want to say that I am not going to be adding or taking away. Well, I could be. Well, no, I'm legitimately. This is a rule that I am setting for myself. Is I do not add any more or take any more liquidity away from this. It is a the token. I do not want to, well, My worry is if I add liquidity or take liquidity away after the, just initial creation of it, it could be seen as a sort of market manipulation, and I just don't want that. So yes, there is a pool available for people to um, interact with, and basically all this does is allow people to swap for SVT and acquire SVT through swaps. And these are just for people that believe in my project and my business, sort of like you would have a stock for a company, um, like an initial public offering, um, you know, but instead these are like ICOs, initial coin offerings that businesses use instead of like just regular stocks. These are actual coins or like uh, tokens on the blockchain that people interact with. Um, and so really that's what SBT is. It's a utility token that offers rewards and features from a business and a platform, but it does have its own liquidity pair. Now in the future, let me actually jump to this one down here. Where is it? So the liquidity pool progress bar. Um, this is actually something that I do want to say. I am going to be providing um, a certain amount of tokens into the pool over time, and that amount is 2 billion out of 10 billion. I'm just going to kind of go over this quickly just to kind of give you all an idea of the um, the structure of my tokenomics and my tokenomics system. Okay, so the liquidity pool will get 20%, 2 billion out of 10 billion of my token supply will be injected into the liquidity pool. Once that is in there, that's it. I mean, if whoever gets those tokens, they got those tokens, that's fine. I don't care. But that's all that's going into the liquidity pool is 2 billion, no more. Now, whether or not people add liquidity to the liquidity pool after that, from acquiring tokens, is completely up to them. But it is possible. Now, going up from there, liquidity pool distribution. So, this is something that I want to talk about um, to people very delicately. And let me just kind of read the description and I'll talk about it afterwards. So the LP rewards distribution bar tracks the 51% of the total supply, so that's 5.1 billion tokens that are allocated towards liquidity providers. Well, what does that mean? By verifying your concentrated liquidity pool NFT token in your user dashboard, the user then becomes eligible to earn those ongoing tokens for distribution um, based on. Um, well, I have to update these descriptions a little bit more, but once you verify your concentrated liquidity pool NFT token in the dashboard, you can earn 25 tokens per day. Now, how does this work? Um, so we have okay. So I want to start off by first saying that there is an airdrop going on. Let me just start from the airdrop, and I'll explain the whole LP rewards distribution and everything after that. So there is an airdrop going on. And you have to remember, I've tested this stuff. I've built all of this from the ground up. Um, the airdrop distribution bar tracks the allocation of SVT available through the community airdrop. Now, how many tokens are going to be distributed? 500 million out of 10 billion tokens. That's 5% of the total supply is only available for the airdrop. So about 3,300 people are going to be acquiring the airdrop or are going to be eligible for the airdrop. Now, there is a 50 cent sacrifice or user contribution for the airdrop. But once you acquire these tokens, this is where things get interesting because then you can become a verified concentrated liquidity pool NFT provider. Um, and So this airdrop fuels the liquidity reward system, the LP rewards distribution system. So if I go to the dashboard, all right, you will see right here, community token distribution, anti-spam verification fee. The reason why this costs 50 cents of Solana in order to acquire the airdrop is because when I was trying to do the airdrop before, I had actually a bot come in here, constantly make new accounts, constantly apply for the airdrop, and it just was not a healthy thing for my business and my ecosystem. I could tell that it was just a group of hackers or a group of scammers that were trying to gain control over my project, and that's not going to fly with me. So what is this? It's cost 50 cents of Solana worth of Solana, so it's very minimal amount of Solana in order to acquire these tokens. Now, let me actually go over to the liquidity pool. Well, actually, hold on, let me just explain this. Let me go in order. So, yes, it costs 50 cents worth of Solana to acquire 150,000 SVT tokens. Okay? Now, whenever somebody wants to apply for this airdrop, they have to share why. They have to share their interest in the platform. These specific 3,300 people are going to have to be from the United States. I want to make that very clear right now. They have to be from the United States. All right. And you have to tell me why you like the platform, want to get involved in the platform. And you don't have to get too specific. You just have to let me know that you're a real person, you know? And that's why it costs 50 cents worth of Solana. There's really nothing more to it than that. It's very a minimal amount of money that I'm going to earn from that over time. And actually, that Solana is probably going to be used for the liquidity pool injection. So let's actually ask AI something really quick about that. So I have a system that allows people to acquire an airdrop, which is 150,000 SVT tokens, by paying 50 cents worth of Solana and telling me in a short message why they were applying for the airdrop. And then after they acquire these tokens, they can then go to the liquidity pool that I have created by clicking the Create SVT Sol Liquidity Position button, which will open the page for them to add their 150,000 SVT tokens into the pool, which is about 30 cents worth of Solana. So they would have to have 30 cents after making the 50 cent payment for the airdrop in order to add to the liquidity pool. But once they add liquidity to the liquidity pool, they will receive a NFT token in their Phantom wallet, which they can then use to verify on the platform to earn 25 tokens per day. Is this a smart business model and incentive? And is it vulnerable? All right, so here's what it's going to tell me about my current distribution system. Let me make sure that it's being displayed properly. So that's a great, thoughtful setup, and I put effort into aligning incentives, using on-chain verification, and keeping it accessible with small dollar amounts. So let's break this down carefully into 3 different parts. One is economic soundness. Number 2 is incentive strength. And number 3 is vulnerability and risk assessment. So what works well? The real value loop is users pay Solana, receive SBT, add SBT, and earn daily tokens. This gives my token both inflow and utility. Dual on-chain proof, the payment and LP NFT both serve as verifiable trustless steps, no manual proof required. Actually, there is manual verification, which I will actually kind of go over really quick. So let me log into my Phantom wallet. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, so I have this. I have a radium concentrated liquidity pool NFT token, and where can I? Let me see something. Why does it say view on orb? Let me go back for a second. Just make sure that it's what happened to SoulScan? I thought that this was on SoulScan. Let me take this address and then go to SoulScan, and then I'm gonna search my token, my concentrated NFT token. All right, as you can see, here it is. Creator. Yep. There's my address right there. And so what would you do from here? You would go to the metadata. You would copy this metadata URI right here. Let me make sure that it's on the screen. So you'd go to the metadata, and then here's the URI, and then you use that down here. You verify the metadata URI link, and then that allows you to claim 25 SVT tokens per day. Now, where do these tokens come from? That's a good question. They come from the Treasury wallet. So I do have all of the tokens. That's something that would raise a lot of alarms for a lot of people. Is if people get involved in my project and they start adding liquidity, if they start acquiring tokens is okay. That's a distribution mechanism. But if people are adding liquidity, but they're not receiving these tokens through various means, then that's a red flag. That is a huge red flag because technically I could like sell all of my tokens to the Radium liquidity pool right here. If I go to swap and then I do this and then I put like max tokens, in here and convert all of my tokens to Solana, which would be like billions of tokens right now, I would essentially steal all of the liquidity and essentially kill my project. But that's not something that I intend to do. It's not something that I am ever going to do. This is a project that I'm building for my future in the long haul. And actually, I'm building this to outlive me. Believe it or not, I am building this platform to outlive me. So in this video or in this stream, I want to say that if you're watching this and you like what I'm building and you want to get involved, reach out to me. I'm very open to the idea of working with somebody in the future, but I have to know that person very well, and I'm not willing to work with just about anybody, you know. So I'm really hoping that in the future this business will turn into its own corporation, its own. Um, I want it to be a brick and mortar business where this website is owned and operated by a company and a business place. I think that would be a really amazing dream of mine to have, and to be able to go into business every day and do something like this. I feel like would be a dream. I really feel like it would be like a dream. Um, and it could be for a lot of people. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You don't have to sell silver. You don't have to, you know, focus on books. You could do a simple reselling service. You could literally create your own business, right? And you could have your own inventory on your website where you take pictures of stuff and then you market with your own prices. Those prices could be in Solana or they could be in USDC. You could do like I'm doing, reward users. Um, but yeah, anybody can do this. If you run a simple reselling business and you want to tap into the blockchain uh, aspect, there you go. You can. Um, now, getting back to like good business practices, because I think that's a really great topic when it comes to talking about my blockchain based business. And what I was just saying there about how anybody can create their own blockchain based business and sell pretty much anything. Um, that is kind of an interesting thought, you know. You know, I think that whatever you do, you should you should research it down to the T. You know, understand as many aspects of what you're trying to accomplish as possible. And I'm sure that there's things that I'm missing because it's just me. It's just one guy, you know. And but look how much I've completed. Look how much I've built and understood and succeeded with. And I just want people to know that they can also, especially in this new digital age of AI technology and what it's capable of doing. It's actually insane. And yeah, I think I've pretty much expressed a lot of what I want to express. I mean, let me just finish going over here. I mean, I have different progression bars for burn mechanisms like governance activity and discounts. So I have tested the discounts with a purchase. That purchase I got 53 SVT from. I'll be testing this stuff live on stream in the future and talking about it, again in the future. But if you know if you found any value in this stream or want me to talk about this more, I am extremely happy to talk about this. Um, my problem is ideas come and go constantly, and I'm like I've already pissed off all my friends talking about this, so that's why I'm on YouTube. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna keep it short. Um, take care, y'all.